Okay guys, I started a little ahead of time and just kind of fill-farted around this morning. Well, this morning, it's almost noon. I went ahead and installed this box. I install them a little low in shops because a lot of times you'll have stuff in your hands, and so I don't want to be, I just want to be able to reach off my waist and touch them. And then this box hasn't been secured yet. I put it on the wall because I think these are going to stick out. They're going to be floodlights, and I didn't want them hanging. The ceiling's already low. So I'm going to do that. I just kind of make up this short little run here, which I'm going to measure out real quick. And then I'll start running wire through all this. So, bent length here. Something like 23. So we'll go with 23 and then shorten it if needed. And then I literally just eyeball it for the bend. So set this on the ground and sneak up on it. Cut some of that off. How much do I need to cut off? So I gotta see how much of this to trim off here. Actually, I don't need to trim any off. Nada. Nothing. Is nothing? I don't know. Alright, now I gotta go get a couple of hangers and we'll be ready to run some wire. Oh, get you guys pointed up there so you can see it. So I just eyeballed it and got it. It just fit just right. So I already did the other light switch on these runs where you've got lights and your power is coming from the light to the switch. You're gonna tie your grounds together, of course. And I'm actually going to make a pigtail out of this because I'm going to need to attach it to the lights. Here's the last little bit. Just got to strip these wires and get everything hooked into the outlet. Make these nice and long because I'll be able to curl them over into the outlet itself. Both of these wires are going over here. Alrighty. And we're going to curl this way. There we go. And then these go up. Oops. Come on, get on there. Come on. So outlet's all hooked up. Get all this wires fed back in there. All nice and pretty like. And then feed this puppy. Ooh. A little over tight on the bottom. And we'll get one of these covers on real quick and test this bad boy out. Huh. Doesn't seem to be wanting to go on the switch. There we go. All right. Now, we'll go turn the breaker on and see what happens. What did I do wrong? Do I gotta have bulbs in there? I'll bet you I have to have bulbs in there. 1 second. Guys, so I realized this center run is supposed to have a carrier or a hot carrier for the next lights. So I gotta get a red wire in here. It's the wrong gauge, but none of this is to code, so I don't really care. So I happen to have this red wire. Normally what you do is just put 14.2 or 12.2 in there, probably 14.2, but in this case I've got a bunch of extra wires, and this is 10 gauge, so it's way humongous, but it's going to work fine. So I'm going to run this between lights, and this will carry the hot over. And the reason for this is if I don't do this and I pull these two light bulbs out, it quits work. The circuit quits working. The lights actually are act like a switch. So you got to have a carrier wire to go to the next set of lights. So I'm just getting this in there, and once I get it to the other side, I will connect it up. I'll show you guys the connections. So I'm going to pause the video because I know it's going to take me a bit to do this. Alright, I don't know if you guys can see this or not. Hold on. You probably can now. So what we've got here is we've got the red wire. Let's see if I can get this in the camera. The red wire is tied to the black wire, power coming in. Power comes in here, gets fed to the red wire and keeps going. It also goes into this wire, which goes into the light. and then the neutrals are tied together. Out of the light comes this white wire, which goes to the black wire, which also keeps going. So you've got power that goes on, you've got a connection through the light, and you've got your neutrals tied together. That's on the first light. In this conduit here, you have 3 wires: black, white, and red. Red's a carrier for the next light. Alright guys, so I don't know how much of this I'm going to edit out and how much I'm going to include, but I screwed this wiring up, so no one said I was an electrician. So what's going on here on this side is the red wire that's coming in as our carrier. It's our new hot for this light. You could think of it that way. And our black coming in is from the other light across the way, or back there, and it is going to get tied to the switch. And so this light here, the 2 black wires on this light are going to get tied to the red wire. And sorry, I'm trimming this and I don't multitask well. Alright, so these 2 black wires are going to get tied to that red wire. I'll strip that real quick. Like I said, none of this is to code. This 10 gauge wire is humongous for 2 lights, but it's what I had. It was free. It didn't cost me anything. So my black wires go to that, and it's large enough. I think I'll use a white wire nut. And then my white wires are going to tie into these black wires, because the incoming black wire is from the other light, and it needs the switch to make connection. See, so hot. And then this goes to white. Won't it backfeed those with 220 though? Sorry guys, I'm still struggling here. Alright guys, when you haven't done wiring in a while, you can kind of second guess yourself and psych yourself out. So as far as I could tell, I went and looked at my quote-unquote wiring book. All of these wires should tie together. So this is the what would I call it? It's the feed that connects to the switch from the first light. These 2 wires are the feed that connects this light to the switch, and this is the switch. This is hot power all the time. The other hot power is over at the other light all the time. So in this case, red goes to blacks, whites pass through, neutrals are going to pass through, and then these 2 white wires are going to connect to, I guess, what I would call the switched power. And we'll get them all up here. I'm going to actually tie the white wires ahead of time together. And then we'll get them in first. This is so freaking irritating when these aren't straight. It's like herding cats. And I'll pull on them and make sure they all come out of the wire nut. Alright, now before I tuck everything in, I'm going to throw a light in here and test it. Hopefully I wired it right and it doesn't blow it out. So we'll go throw the breaker. Alright, so switch time. Ooh, lights come on, yay. Now I should be able to, let's see if you guys can, well, lower you down. So you can see that this light's on, and what I should be able to do is pull this out with the switch still engaged, and my other lights are still on, which is what should happen in the first place. So you got to have 3 wires in this sort of setup, and I'll go ahead and get this tucked in and let you guys watch the last little bit of that. I'm going to leave this light out while I do that. So yeah, when you don't, and I still got a ground to deal with too. Alrighty, let's try not to get electrocuted. Tuck that underneath. Back in there. Like so. And I gotta get this ground connected back up real quick. I don't know why that came undone, but it did. So, come on, hook in my back pocket. And then I've gotta pinch that up because it's not tight enough. I try to get them to curl around the actual nut. Come on, don't nick that neutral. Sorry about the noise. Get that ground tightened up. And then we'll tuck the ground away. We got this big heavy 10 gauge wire. I'll tuck that in here. And I should be able to close this up. And I'm sure if there's some electricians watching this, they're just going to shit their pants because I didn't do it to code. And that's okay. You guys can shit your pants. Oh. What I got caught in between there. Ouch. Alright, let's try that one more time. I hate it when I get phone calls and it shuts the stupid phone off. So let's try that one more time. And why is that acting like... All right, now I'm going to throw the lights in real quick. And presto changeo, I've got some big ass lights in my shop. All right, and then these lights over here are still working. So, as nutty as this video's been, and as many comments as I'm going to get for not doing it to code and all that good stuff. I hope that this helps someone. My goal was to, use what I had wherever possible, and then if I did have to buy stuff, to go buy the cheapest things possible. So for anyone that's doing this, I hope it helps you, and I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks.